In the previous episode from the MakeShift SMP, I set out on a quest to automate all of the metals. And here is the list of these ingots. Out of these, I've successfully automated iron, copper, zinc, as well as brass. And that leaves me with gold, netherite, corium, nutium, and electrum. And in this episode, I want to focus on these two, gold and netherite. As for the rest, I can't quite get corium just yet because I haven't been to the end. Nutium is something that's possible just from netherite automation. And then electrum is simply a royal pain in the backside to get because of its low drop rate. So maybe we even reorder this and do that in our order of priority. Yeah, that seems like a plan. And I think starting with gold is a smart idea. Well, I mean, it's used to make netherite, but also, I'm completely out of it. I may have other items in the thousands, especially through automation, but even through my mining expeditions, I literally have just 6 gold left, and all the factory gauges need gold to make them. Quite the conundrum, really. So to make gold, I am choosing to go down the smelting crushed raw gold route, and I want to get crushed raw gold using the unstable stone recipe. Now, unstable stone is produced via a deployer using volatile dust on carnotite. And carnotite is another in-ore generation for apple cider and lava. Now, apple cider is fairly simple. It's just mixing any cracked nut with apple, garnish, and water, much like the peanut oil up there somewhere. But what really threw me for a loop is volatile dust. Volatile dust comes from unstable stone, and looking at the recipe for unstable stone, for the longest time I was missing the fact that there is one of 2 pages here. And to actually get volatile dust, which in turn lets you start this process of duplicating volatile dust and keep making unstable stone, you gotta crush abyssal stone, which gives you volatile dust. So abyssal stone then in turn comes from bulk haunting purple Zeltite or magenta Zeltite. And the Zeltite blocks is something I'm considering selling. They're kind of like concrete and can be produced in world using Mastic resin. So to get this strange magenta Mastic resin, you've got to heat a block of magenta Mastic resin, and it turns into the liquefied version, which you can bucket up and use in the stone generator. And to then get the Mastic resin, you gotta bonk 9 Mastic paste into this guy. Or you can bulk dye the normal one, and this is probably what I'll end up doing. So to get the Mastic blocks then, you end up compacting Mastic paste together, and Mastic paste comes from the resin itself, which comes from sugar, slime balls, and wheat seeds, heated and compacted. And so the obvious solution to this problem happens to be a wheat field, because not only does that give me wheat seeds for free, it also lets me convert the wheat into slime balls. Now, I did have to expand the region chunk loaded by my windmill, but that also means my cow farm is loaded too. It's a win-win situation, really. Anyways, tiny little wheat farm right in front of the future town hall and train station. It's the next day in real life, and before I left last night, I did end up hooking this up with a chain drive and a proper package frogport and a packager, and this packager is sending to factory wheat. And on the receiving end, my setup has changed a little bit to sort of emulate something like what Matter's doing. I have a frog port that is accepting all factory requests, so asterisk factory asterisk, and those go into this vault, which are then sent out by this frog port into my internal chain network, thus maintaining separation between the two. Now this guy is going to still get the same packages addressed to Mailfax Wood, except it's now connected here, and Fortune Lol has been moved to over there somewhere, on the copper block vault. And these 2 factory gauges are the new addition here. If I hold down this and say I want to have 2 stacks of this in stock and 2 stacks of that, I imagine most of it's going to come from my stores down there, but I'm hoping at least some shows up from over here. That would be cool. Oh, there goes a package. Let's follow it. It's going to go upstairs. It's going to come in from this frog port right here, get put out by that frog port, and get taken into the intake. And I did have to up these values to 10 stacks, but hey, that's already full once again. Man, I love when a system works out perfectly. And having all these systems in place now means that I can use wheat as well as seeds as a part of my crafting chains. So I can now request wheat to be crushed into flour and then have that flour washed into dough. And then using this fancy little contraption here, dye it lime to turn into slime. And now this brand new bunk can request slime as well as seeds and sugar. And then start producing a whole boatload of mastic resin. My ping must be suffering right now. A belt to pull these items out, and then I'm going to send them on over into a depot with another bonk on top of it, just like so. The mastic resin over here is then turning into mastic paste, which I would like to technically filter and put up in there. There we go. And then with the power of a second bonk, I can convert that mastic resin into mastic resin blocks. Eventually, I promise. I just gotta shimmy these things around and connect them up to power and stuff. I've just got to store those mastic resin blocks into this vault here, and that'll be a job well done. Maybe anti-funnel, just boop it on, and do that. Step 1 of gold automation is now complete. Mastic resin is done. Now we dye it magenta, using the other side of this little dyeing module I've come up with. 4 of these blocks can then be liquefied into actual mastic resin, which I should then be able to put into one section of this multi-stone generator. And this is a multi-stone generator because each and every single drill will be responsible for one of these colors of Zeltite. They've been selected because they all do something else, but for now I'm just doing magenta. So magenta resin goes here, and then lava needs to flow into a magenta flow to make Zeltite. And the lava goes back there. It is actually a block higher than that. They're at the same level and it flows down, and that's because... Don't ask me how many times I've accidentally made obsidian now. It's getting a little old. I believe both of these need to flow into one another for this to work, and I'm hoping that works. There it is. Magenta Zeltite. Exactly what I wanted. Now I can put in a threshold switch or just let this run for a time being, and... yeah, it's doing it. There it is. A stack of this brand new magenta Zeltite can then be sent to factory haunt, which is essentially just another one of these systems right here. I wonder if I can see the package going through or maybe getting haunted. Yeah, there it is. And crushing that just made us our first volatile dust. There it is, going up. And you know, I've just noticed that I didn't record this entire segment where I built this tiny little farm for Carnotite, but here goes the apple cider and there goes the lava. There's the Carnotite, and there's a drill. Carnotite is now being generated. And yeah, I'm aware it's a really small stone generator. It's only 160 stacks of storage too, but that's all I really need. If I ever want to use Carnotite as a building material, I'm having some and saving some, and the rest will turn into unstable stone. So to save on space, I have opted to go upwards instead of forwards this way. And this guy will need its volatile dust to convert the incoming Carnotite into the volatile stone, and I can probably test that out right now. Oh wait, it's not even powered. What am I doing? Let's try that again, shall we, now that it's powered? There we go. Unstable stone. A tiny little vault to store some, and then I think I'm gonna move on to belting it out of here. And of course, once again, I'm using the old crushing wheel trick, which will then immediately be followed by a set of brass funnels, and I think I have just enough to do this. Yep. And then a mechanical arm taking the volatile dust from here, depositing it there, and then also into a depot up there to dispose of it, and then be placed right there. And instead of round robining, I'll say prefer the first target, which was the deployer itself. That should work. Chutes, depots, and then one more double bonk setup. Those blocks of gold can then go into their very own little 3x3x3. Why isn't this working? I'm just lagging, it's fine. I had forgotten the actual fans for the blasting process, but I believe all that I'm missing now is one of those, and everything should be going. Everything should be functional as we speak. There's zinc ingots on the thing here, and the excess is being destroyed. That is the exact behavior I wanted. And on this end, I should be getting gold, which is then going to get compacted into gold trapdoor. That's not what I wanted. I wanted gold bars. God damn it. Fine, with one of my last 4 gold ingots, I'll make the filter. It's fine, I promise, because now I have infinite gold. Just in a moment here. Please be patient. There we go. And you know, it took me a moment to realize that I don't actually need to filter the gold ingots, I need to filter gold blocks because I'm already getting ingots from this crushing system right here. And I'm not too happy with this just yet. I might go ahead and redesign this because as you can see, every now and again, if there's gold actively waiting there, the gold that comes out of this, especially even the zinc, may just get discarded completely. Like that. Just because there was some waiting here. I might have to put an inventory in between or something, so this might change. Oh, and change it did. I ended up making it so that these outputs are going into barrels and then are filtered and then output again onto a belt to be compacted into blocks or onto another depot, which then sends it into the zinc block compactor all the way on the other side of the factory over here, back here, and over there. That guy. And so with gold now in our system, I can check the gold ingots off of this list. Also this abyssal stone and magenta mastic resin. And then the factory has just sort of imploded, so I gotta clean up a lot of mess once again. Oops. I am totally not procrastinating at all. This is not what procrastinating is. I am simply just waiting. This is waiting, I promise. I'm not making sturdy sheets. No, you're making sturdy sheets. And on the quest of crafting everything using those casings, I have run out of kelp. And so I ended up over here overhauling everything, and I figured I'd pull you in for a quick little progress update, where I now have a fully functional quote-unquote shop right here with no table cover, but I also have a frog port that is sending out and into my storage. Exactly like that. And I mean, while I'm at it, it does seem like redstone is struggling, so it might just be time to automate red Zeltite because you can crush that and it gives you redstone 5% of the time. That's pretty meager chances, but I'll take them. Red mastic resin go in. And a little bit of a struggle later. I think I'm... Yep, it's in the farm. Perfect. I'm not gonna have to block this off somehow, and I think I'm gonna use a shaft once again. Okay, please, oh, wait, no, okay, can I please just put it, okay, wait. Quick little reset because I broke something. That should become a block of red Zeltite, and it did. Okay, that brings me immense joy. Okay, you can calm down now, please, thank you. I can turn the farm back on, and I'm now also farming red Zeltite. How cool. So, I was completely out of redstone, and I figured that was going to happen, and I came back to 26,000 red Zeltite, which basically essentially means my vault completely filled up, and that was because my threshold switch was set up incorrectly. I mean, I fixed it, but I now have a great excess, and that means I can grind up a whole bunch to make redstone. And I already have some in my inventory, so it goes... Boop. Using factory crush, the chances of getting this is 5%, so every 20 will lead to 1 red Zeltite, and I think that's decent odds given that it's completely automated. There we go. I can now set to have 2 stacks of this stuff constantly in stock. That means it's going to run through 60 stacks of that to produce 2 stacks of that. That math right? It absolutely isn't. It is now one extremely productive live stream later, where not only did we fix Matter's side of the train tracks, but also terraform the train tracks all the way along the east-west train highway. Except I have terrible news. The people have decided that I am not allowed to automate Netherite until everybody has Netherite. And I happen to have a big old tunnel bore that I can take in the Nether. It's a few modifications first. Ah yes, much better. All of these deployers will place blocks in front of where this guy will be mining, and all these deployers will basically make a tunnel around this entire mining machine so that I don't have to deal with flowing lava in my tunnels while I go ancient debris mining. I'm a big fan of the system. I already tested some out, and I even had to empty out a big portion of this vault into a subsequent vault because there's just simply too much data to move around. But hey, at least now I can go netherite mining. And this is the functionality I was talking about. These deployers are placing netherite in front of them and thus blocking out the lava before the drills get there. There is a little bit of a problem with gravel being in the ceiling, so when gravel falls through and the deployers don't place any netherrack in that place, then we're in trouble. But other than that, you can see that I am making my own tunnel as I come through. Wait a minute. 1,000 blocks away and we have a stack of netherrack. Or wait, a stack of ancient debris instead. Sorry, my bad. Alright, you want to turn around?
Stack of netherrack.
Yeah, a stack of netherrack. I do have a stack of netherrack right here. Alright, want to turn around and go back?
Yeah.
Matter is now live streaming. We have gone back 1,000 blocks and then come back all the way to the beginning. And we plan on doing this like 4 times total because we get a stack every 1,000 blocks or something.
I mean, if you stop it and there is like more than 128, then yeah.
Alrighty. And I have just realized I wasn't recording because we are currently gearing up for a whole stream weekend. And would you look at that? Big Fully is finally on the server. Either way, I had to leave and eat dinner at some point, but Matter went on and got us about 4.5 stacks of ancient debris, which turned into just over, or rather just under 5 stacks of netherite scrap after I bulk seeded everything. I was expecting to need more blaze cakes and all that jazz, but apparently not, so that can go there. And Matter needs 45 of these, so I'm just going to sell for him, and the rest I will sell. And once these sell out, that means everybody has netherite, and we can automate netherite. It is one live stream later, where not only did I end up hooking up Matter with a lava supply using this train, which refills from right here and goes on over to his brand new base over on that island. Check out his video if you want to see. I also hooked up Stock Gaming with a somewhat permanent lava supply with a minecart system. If you want to watch the whole stream though, that's going to be uploaded to my channel eventually. It probably is already out by now. Anyways though, to round out the rest of this episode, I want to do what I've been waiting to do. And that is finally start selling some netherite. Whole stack of netherite ingots that I'm going to be selling one at a time. And people better pay for this stuff because this stuff was somewhat hard to get. Except, you know, I don't want people bulk buying my netherite, so I have set up this little goofy system that's going to dispense one thing every so often, and that so often I'm choosing to be, you know, 10 minutes. That seems fair. And then I could do the same thing over here, set up another funnel, set up a vault, and then set up a packager and a stock link and all that jazz. And this will only ever have one netherite ingot in here. You need to turn this off when there's something in here though. That's something I gotta keep in mind. And that's nothing a little bit of vanilla redstone couldn't possibly solve. So if I turn this down to a minute, which has definitely passed, or is gonna pass in a second here, I can see this in action. We can fast forward this if this doesn't work out. Oh, wait, never mind. There is one netherite ingot there. This timer has stopped. That means I can turn this back to 10 minutes. This timer won't work. There's nothing being put out. There's only one netherite ingot in my system. So if someone wants to buy that one netherite ingot, they'll have to use the shop downstairs. Non-automated netherite is now for sale. And I'm selling it at 16 diamonds a pop because, hey, I put in the effort to make this. It'll be cheaper once I can automate it. In any case, guys, this has been KSAW from the MakeShift SMP. And I'll see you next time, where I might just work on a little bit more infrastructure around here. Especially in the shopping district, where I will be laying down all of the rail network to deliver packages to respective shops. So keep your eyes open for that one. I'll be seeing you next time. Peace out, everybody.
Okay, I'm leaving.
Aww. Okay,
I gotta
bye.
go.